Aloha. The first thing that I would like to say, or sing actually, is it's alright, it's okay, at the end of the day. It's alright, yeah, it's okay, it's a big deal to have a baby. This topic of abortion or pregnancy termination, however it is you want to look at it, is a topic that many people have different opinions about. And what I've learned from my own experiences in life is that everything is about perspective. I've had 2 abortions in my lifetime, one when I was 18 and one when I was 29. When I was 18, I was very clear. I'm a woman with a mission. I am not having a child right now. This has happened. I'm going to take care of this. Let's go to the clinic. Take this thing out. Let's go. I got stuff to do. And I was clear that's... And I had anesthesia, so I didn't feel anything, and I was really disconnected from the whole process. Like, I was very clear this is not happening. The second time around was not like that. I conceived a child with a man whom I loved and adored, and I really wanted nothing more than to have our baby, a part of me. And another part that I could not silence was the fact that I kept thinking, or kept feeling like, I don't want this child right now. Like, I don't want a child. And a part of me thought, like, well, I can prove that I can do it, and well, everything happens for a reason, and well, I should have thought of that beforehand. And there was a lot of people were very supportive of me and making sure that I was well taken care of, provided me space to sleep, conversations, their time, their energy. And when I went through with that procedure the second time around, I didn't have any anesthesia because I wanted to feel the loss. I didn't want to be numbed out anymore. I wanted to feel this physical connection from my baby, and I didn't know what that would entail. So it was very much like the first time where I knew what would happen, so I wasn't afraid. I was like, okay, we're doing this, and I've decided, and I finally got to that point of, okay, this is what I want. But it was intense. It was quite excruciating, to the point of, just like, holy cow, my body didn't have any natural hormones kicking in like you do in pregnancy, even though, it was kind of like a little snippet of what pregnancy I think could be like, because, get the sensation of the pressure and feeling like I have to poo, and discomfort in the abdomen area. And so anyways, that was only the beginning. A few days later, I went and had a session with somebody to do some creative work and just try to get, myself in a different headspace and just process, what had happened. And what he had noticed was that I didn't mention anything about the child. And when he brought that up, I said, yeah, well, I chose and I'm good and I'm okay with it. And he asked me if I'd grieved. And I hadn't. And I don't believe I've ever grieved in my life. And when I was on my bedroom floor, all of my pains and hurts of the things that my partner had said or not said came up for me. And there were some things that he said that I couldn't get out of my mind. And my soul felt tortured, the fact that I'd heard those words come out of his mouth. And I just lay on the ground and I wept and I wailed and I grieved on such a deep, almost existential level, for the loss of my child, our child, the loss of the disconnection from the physical child, the physical disconnection of this man in my creation, the loss of being connected to him in that way, like, and I just cried and cried until I could cry no more, and gave my body time to recover. So the mental and the physical and the emotional were all incorporated for me in the second experience. It also led me to realize that I've been making choices in my life that were not bringing me what I truly wanted. I want to have a partner, and I didn't know that this is what I wanted until all of this happened. And a friend of mine was saying his girlfriend told him that even if she gets pregnant, regardless of what he thinks, she's going to keep the baby. And he said to me that bothered him because it's important to him that he gets to be a part of the process, and it's important that, you know, it's a team thing, like we create this together, and, you know, I want to be excited and share about it, not just you're going to do what you want. And so I saw myself in what he was saying, how I've been a lone ranger sometimes, like I'm going to make this choice with or without you. And I ended up doing that, actually, you know, with the second termination. The first one my partner knew, and he was there for it, and we shared that moment. But the second time, the partner, we hadn't spoken in a while, and when we did try to connect, it didn't end up happening before the procedure. And I hadn't been honest, or I just hadn't shared with him and said, hey, I wanted to talk because this is what I'm going to do. And I know he beat himself up for, you know, stuff that he said or how he could have contributed, and because I know he cares for me and he loves me, and he didn't mean to do any harm. You know, we had this beautiful possibility and a situation now to be responsible with. And he said something to me that I didn't remember until we spoke again later, but when we talked, he had said, you know, ultimately the decision is yours because you are a gatekeeper. And when I took time to myself, I had a week where I just stopped talking to everyone about it, and it came to me. It's like, I'm a gatekeeper. Like, this is something that is not just, here's a physical human baby. That I'm like, as women, we have portals in our belly. There's a soul coming into my body to come out of it. And that's a huge responsibility. And so this process has really taught me to love myself and respect myself and my body, and really look at how can I act and be moving forward to have that kind of a man show up where we both, you know, are in a beautiful space with each other, and we want to create this, if that is indeed what we choose, and have that baby start in a space of love, created from love. And it's not to say that it wasn't, but who we were, like, we weren't on the same page, and it was messy, and it wasn't clear, and it wasn't the way that I wanted to conceive a child. And it's important to me because I grew up, my parents were 20 and 21 when they had me, and I turned out fine. I turned out, I think, better than fine. I turned out really well. I'm healthy, and I'm grateful for my life. So it's not to say that this child wouldn't have turned out okay, but what was important to me at my core is that I really created this child as a partnership. I have a partnership with someone, and that's the energy that we put into this child, because I really did struggle, you know, and I don't believe that is necessary, that I want to give my child or children the best head start in life, just full of love that I can, because I don't know what kind of child is going to come out, and I want to be loving myself so that I can love others truthfully and honestly, and I wasn't loving myself. And so for you girls or women who are thinking about, or even men, if you're watching this and your partner is pregnant and you're wondering what a woman's perspective is, there's some questions that I would like to share just for your own consideration, that I discovered through my process. And that was, how was this child conceived? Am I ready? Do I want this child? Am I trying to prove something by not, or by going through with the pregnancy? And am I being honest, ultimately, with myself? Because nobody else has to carry this child in my body or be me, and nobody else has to be responsible for this child. Nobody. And yes, there's other alternatives, but I don't want to bring another child that is going to be, who knows, but has the possibility of feeling like they weren't wanted here, and that's not to say that there's anything wrong with, people get pregnant every day, people have abortions every day, many things happen every day. And I'm just sharing my perspective and my story because I want to pay it forward and share, because I looked up what was available on YouTube the second time. I was just curious, and I watched this 19-year-old girl share about her experience and what it was like, and she was just sharing her entire process, and I was very inspired by it, like how courageous she was to just share that she had this experience, and two of her other friends were pregnant, and they had chose to keep their babies and she didn't, so she had this guilt. And I'm so grateful for all the lessons that have come from this experience. And I started with a song because, yes, it is a matter of life and death. And I really believe that with compassion and gentleness and kindness, that as for you women, like you really will know what you truly want. And I hope that you take whatever your experience is and learn whatever lessons are there for you. And I'm taking my lessons with me moving forward. There's one book I want to share with you about that a friend shared with me. It's by Dr. CHRISTIANE Northrup. It's called Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, Creating Physical and Emotional Health and Healing. And the one piece I want to share with you was, there's a part where a woman realized that she wanted to have a child with somebody, and that her actions were not supportive of that. She was with men that she didn't really want, like in myself. Like I've been with men whom, by the way, I'm very grateful for. I've had amazing loves in my life and been loved and loved, had the honor to treasure many memories with beautiful men, and I'm grateful for that. And at the same time, she realized that she was going to wait until that man showed up, and she ended up waiting 3 years until she met a man. And I realized in that moment, I'm like, I've been in such a hurry. I'm totally not acting in ways that will ultimately give me what I want. So I had to take a look at that, like, oh, am I respecting? And yes, like, it's up to me to hold the line for myself and to have a standard and to say, like, if I truly, what I ultimately desire in a partnership is to have the most extraordinary, beautiful, inspiring, conscious, deep relationship with a man. Like, really go deep. Like, really have a deep connection, though, in all seriousness. Really understand him and know him, and and really choose that one person that I want to share this life with. That's what I want. And I want to be with someone who wants to be with that and in that with me and is excited, whether or not we ever have a child. And in order to really have that show up in my life, I just got to be willing to wait for it to show up instead of trying to hope and act like every man that I run into or end up in some kind of a relationship with, is the one or could be the one, and exhausting. So I hope that this video has brought you some sort of insight for yourself, and feel free to comment below and ask questions or share your own stories. I really I believe that sharing is caring. And, I had a lot of people say, well, don't post something like that, because then all this fear came up. Like, what if the activists and the people who are very I can't worry about everything that could happen. All I know is that I learned a lot of lessons, and I know that it is challenging on a physical and spiritual and emotional level to go through. And I want you to know that you're not alone, and whether you're younger or older, that the conversation is okay to have. It really is okay. And make sure you find somebody who you feel safe with to talk about your choice or your options. And at the end of the day, remember that you are beautiful and you have a freaking portal in your body, girl. That is serious. I'm going to stop recording now because I think I've said everything that I want to. And thank you is actually the last thing. Thank you for sharing this moment and your time and your energy to partake in this video. And I hope you like it. And if you do, click like so that I know, that way it's just that little encouragement. But even if you don't, I will still be sharing. So, thank you.
I realize I really don't know what love is. I mean, I had all these TV shows teach me what love is supposed to look like, but it was all these dramatics, so the examples I've had weren't really setting me up for a successful relationship. So I posed the question to myself, what is love? And just gave up that I knew anything about it. And I just enjoy watching people and seeing love in front of me. What people who love each other, how they act, what they look like, what they do, what they say, and how to recognize those traits of twin souls or people that were simply meant to be. Mosquito found my finger, the one spot I don't have the oil. this is what that song is about. I'll stand